want to begin a reverse sweep.
Okay. Nice on the Genji here for defense for Bellum.
The Genji.
And we'll see the, we'll see the Happy Sombra teased. It is viable, but the Widow is obviously what this comp is designed to do. He teases now the Hanzo. Hanzo can be used. The thing about using Hanzo in a comp like this is that you can break the tanks when they dive up, but you can't really chip them down by the time they get there, so you just kind of get out-sustained, and once your Storm Arrow's up, you're like, I'm kind of done, whereas Widow can do a ton of damage as they approach, and then can jump to the other side, right where, you know, the Orisa just shot at. You can jump to the other side with grapple, and then have another line of sight. So, okay. All right. It happens to everybody.
8% just like that for Neist.
Took out that one. But, yeah, let's see. Glister going to be on the Genji. Gods be on the Tracer again. It's going to be tougher for Envy to mitigate all the damage that's coming through this time with the double dive. So they're getting around to the left side.
Yeah, getting ready to push their way in. Rio leading the charge. Defense Matrix going to be up. Takes a tag. A lot of shots coming through from Happy. Just ripping that mech apart as best as he can. As everybody, Bellum just playing in the back here behind the Orisa barrier. Another one going to get dropped down and be shredded out of that mech. 1J Lee assassinated by No Smite. X6-Gaming with his pick. They're just going to go ahead and basically instant cap, it would almost seem. On to A as Bellum suffers heavy losses. Everybody going down. There's the effective team wipe. So 7 minutes about on the clock for this B push. Bellum changing up the roster. Will they be able to hold this off?
Well, it's an ult advantage for X6, and, you know, in a longer fight on B, that it could be a double cap. It's not a double cap in the normal sense of it, but if they can win the longer fight, because they do have this Lucio, they should have a lot they can do with this Dragon Blade. However, Neist does expect the Genji to stay, and will be playing the Brigitte to kind of counter it, so it's going to be tough for the Dragon Blade to really do a massive amount of damage if the Brigitte is in position to shut it down. On a big area like this, it's tough as the Brigitte, who's not very mobile, to actually make sure that happens. It's easier on certain other maps. So Godspeed avoids a narrow sleep dart there. Just going to go a little bit wide. X6 is just slowly ticking up for these ults. They want to use the Valkyrie to open the fight, it looks like, and then they should be able to, using the Valkyrie healing, get all their ultimates in the longer fight.
They're all charging up over onto this left side here. Bellum still playing back over towards the spawn. A lot of damage in onto Rio, and he's got to get the hell out of there. They're in onto the point. The first hit coming through here for the side of X6, and now it's going to be the Dragon Blade drawn out. Glister dashing forward, looking for the Winston. Cuts him down very easily with the help of Godspeed. Now in onto the Ana. Char doesn't stand a chance. Right clicks coming through. Onto the Diva, up out of the mech, and X6-Gaming might just snowball this one out of control. 1J Lee pushes through, trying to get onto the point with his Transcendence, but it's going to expire soon. Has to kite his way back in, and it's just Neist playing up by himself. Gets healed up, the rally nearly coming through, and Glister is dead. So that alleviates a lot of pressure here for the side of Bellum. We'll try to maintain control here and not just go ahead and give up the point on this first push. It seems like they will be able to do so as Roki and No Smite both fall.
Bebe just a second too late on his sound barrier to save Glister, and that was a huge problem. I think if that hits, the fight looks a little bit different. But it was exactly as I said. Roki, they waited for him to have the Valkyrie. He opens, they heal enough to where No Spike can force his way into a Primal. Dragon Blade comes out at the same time. They build the sound barrier. Very systematic push here from X6 trying to get the double cap. They're still going to feel really happy. Close call there.
Yeah.
They're still going to feel really satisfied with what they got out of this, because they still have a huge time bank to finish it. But Bebe is going to feel a little bit bad. He was just a little bit off on that sound barrier. Super close. Suddenly music, but hopefully you guys didn't hear that on the stream.
Bebe rezzed back in by Roki, who took a little bit of damage, but not going to go down.
Chara's almost got a nano, and that could really buy a lot of time.
Yeah, you obviously throw that on Happy, you know. The sprint around machine gun Widowmaker.
It'll be likely on to Rio or Neist. And Rio already has a Primal, so might even hold on to it. Depends on the situation.
Shots coming in from Gosby here onto the low ground, now flipping over to the side, looking for Chara. Now 1J Lee just working his way across the healers and manages to take him down with the helmet Glister. Has that follow-up to go ahead and execute the Zenyatta. Rhea out of the mech. Self-destruct going to be thrown down, not finding any picks forward, but makes it back in safely as X6 are back in, looking to take this up. Bio Grenade coming down, going to barely miss Happy here as they try to continue pushing back X6. Roki gonna fall, and Glister's out of the fight. Pulse Bomb was used just to get the Widowmaker, and now we'll see the Nano Boost in. Rio charging forward, able to go ahead and get rid of the Tracer.
Yeah, we'll see if Chara sticks with the Ana. Unfortunately for him, he just hasn't been very successful at hitting the sleep darts onto Godsby. Godsby will switch to the Widow anyways, but otherwise the reason why he picks the Ana is because it gives a larger coverage of this area, and against a Genji comp, you need to have good healing coverage because it's a very mobile comp that X6 was running with the Tracer Genji. And Ana can obviously shut that down with a sleep if she's able to connect it. Unfortunately, Chara was not able to do so. But the idea still stands, and without Nice to be a little bit more aggressively positioned on this Brigitte to look for stuns because he knows that he can get the Harmony Orb and the left click heals from Ana at range. No Smite looks to open this point up. Maybe it's going to have the Transcends. This can lead into a Dragon Blade to get that final tick. The supports, though, need to be executed.
No Smite getting stunned up here for the moment. Jumps onto the high ground, pops that Primal Rage as he finds Happy. Smacks him around a little bit. Rally going to be used here by Nice just to try to keep everybody in the fight. Envy and Rio both going low. As X6 are back in onto the point, dash through. Glister finds Happy with the melee hit. Dragon Blade still going to be held for now. Doesn't have to use it. Bebe pops out the Transcendence. 1J Lee has this as well. And Glister, he's just going to wait for this to expire. Now that it's gone, dashes in, trying to get rid of that Zenyatta and finds him with the first swipe. Dashes through, looking for the follow-up here onto the Diva mech. Self-destruct in, Envy not going to make it back through, and X6 ticking up, will get the completion. 2 minutes and 8 seconds, a decent time by considering it was near 7 at the start. But X6 still going to get that completion, still going to be competitive here on Horizon Lunar Colony.
This is how you swap a player in for a map and execute the strategy well. The style that X6 is so famous for, their dive style that was good with Godsby, BQB on the Sombra, but Glister would be subbed in after the Sombra maps had passed to play the Genji and the Junkrat on defense.
The sign's upside down!
That's all right. But, you know, this is the kind of swap that Elo Mystic got famous for with Sparkle. It's the Genji Junkrat projectile swap. They work it out here, they execute the strategy well, they end up with a decent time bank. The only thing we could say about Bellum here on the defense is Chara's Ana just didn't have high impact, and the trade-off, you know, we talked about the benefits of the Ana, the trade-off meaning they lost a lot of damage. So Discord Orbs are going to be able to give you extra boosted damage on the Widow, and alternatively the Mercy will give you boosted damage in other ways. The Ana was a good choice, but I just feel like the impact he made was lower than what he was looking for. But otherwise, it was just good execution on Glister's dive. Now he's going to be playing the Junkrat defensively. So that's how the meta is.
It's like you called it from the start, Wolf.
It's almost like
you're an analyst or
game.
something.
It's like we've been casting this game for a while, and there have been certain patterns that have occurred. There's this way the game is played during this era. It feels almost like it's metastasized. Maybe we could call it the meta game. What players do during a certain period of time. What's the common strategies across the board? Yeah.
I don't know what a meta is, but I have a really good Mei in Symmetra.
Don't talk to me ever again.
Or my son. All right, here we go. Push coming through from Bellum. He's going to have that Rhine shield up as they wrap around the side. Triple tank coming through. Happy. Going to be trying to layer in some damage with that Widowmaker. Already taking a tag, however, from Godsby.
They have a really good setup here, and on the attack, you know, it's tough to get in here without a speed boost. They use the speed boost. They force their way onto the point.
Yep, zipping their way through here. The Hulk coming down. As No Smite tries to stand up in the front, going to be fortified here for the moment, but now has to kite back in. First take surrender to Bellum, who are having a pretty successful push thus far, but Happy's going to be taken down by Godsby in the meantime, so a lot of that damage now going to be going away, and Godsby has a great back flank angle here coming through. Gets the pop out onto the mech there, getting rid of Nice. Still looking for a couple more shots. Misses that one there on a 1J lead.
He shatters. It's a huge shatter as well.
Yeah, might catch that one, but actually it's going to be Envy just pushing forward. Finds 2 kills, and the wipe coming in. Godspeed, not much you can do against that one.
I cannot believe that just happened. We didn't really have it on screen, but I was watching Rio, and I was already prepping my like post-fight, and I was just like, well, the biggest winner here was Rio. He got a shatter. Envy was close, but he actually just uses it, hits everyone, and turns a lost fight into a 1-1. They got the respawns. This could just be the double cap.
Yep, now they're in onto the point.
Grab's
High
almost
energy
ready.
coming through, grab on the way. Riptire comes down, finds Chara.
Rio's
A
D-Max.
decent pick off here, but now Envy has that Graviton Surge ready to go. Waiting for the opportunity to throw this one down. 50 energy, this one's fallen off as he tries to kite back. Still taking quite a bit of damage, but he's got the Reinhardt nearby. He's got the Diva. Now he's going to be knocked out of the mech, however, and Happy taken down by Klister in the back line. Will go ahead and recall to take himself out to safety. 2 ticks gained for X6 on that push. They could very well best X6's time here.
And most teams would have committed the Graviton there, hoping that Rio would get his shatter for the follow-up in that fight. They didn't have Happy, though, and they know that they have a time bank advantage by 4 minutes right now, and they have ult advantage. Roki makes the switch back to the Ana. Here we go. This is going to be the speed boost to get them in. They need to avoid the defense matrix. That was a fail shatter.
Yeah, that shatter not going to be nearly as good as the first one. Self-destruct up into the air from Rhea and be taken out after he uses the Graviton Surge, and it's not going to do anything here. And X6-Gaming, just like that, shut down Bellum on this push. They will still have the support ultimates ready to go. Nice with the self-destruct.
This was
a good timeline.
This was like a 5-star Michelin restaurant meal on a platter. It looked amazing. The server was bringing it over, and then it was just dropped all over the floor. Like the amount of tools that Bellum just had, and the advantages they had in terms of ults and the positioning they had was all amazing. And then they just threw it on the floor. The shatter was a huge fail, and then the grab was shut down. It was nasty. They still have a huge time bank, but that could have been the end at this point.
5-star Michelin sounds pretty good, but Bellum, for them, what sounds really good right now is going to be this take on the point. They go forward, Roki going to go down, Godsby as well eliminated, as Happy is still just taking heads off. Bebe goes down and follows up for Klister. And for a little bit more, Winston up into his face. Grapple hook can't go inside as the self-destruct is there to gate him off. Words are difficult. Godsby manages to trade one back there. They're so very close to getting this cap, but X6 just keep trying to hold them back as best as possible. Nice. Hit to the side, dashes through, looks for the finish, gets Godsby, dashes over, now trying to get Bebe. Won't be able to do it, but they'll just go ahead and cap it instead. 4:26 left on the clock. They best the time that X6 had established, and Bellum still in this fight, still very well. Could win the series right here as they get ready to go up 3-0.
I mean, remember, they just had the god tier triple tank push, and then just gave it away for free, switched comps, and then based on the first push, snowballed the win there. What's scary about this for X6 is if they get held or if they end up with a really weak time bank, we know Bellum will very likely just run another tank attack. And with a huge time bank, that's ideal because you can build those ultimates like we've been talking about throughout the season thus far. It's really, really scary for X6 now. Backs against the wall, 2.5 minutes inferior the time bank. Let's see if they can make this attack efficient, because they can't try to switch the tank comp. They don't have the time to do that if they want to make sure that they maximize the value of their push. So they're probably going to have to play dive again. It's a scary thing. It is going to be at least shown to be the Genji Tracer dive. Bebe on the Lucio, as same setup here for the defending team, Bellum. Remember, they did get shut down based on the first push against the dive last time, so this is what X6 hoping for. They check this time.
We learned. Klister not going to have to use his deflection off the bat this time around. Nice. Not going to be getting that 8% charge. Godsby right now hovering around, looking to go outside, but he's got to make a pack at least as he gets knocked down to 30 HP by Happy. Happy going to go ahead, heal back away, knows that X6 is likely going to be pushing from this side of the map. And wants to get a better angle. Godsby now going to start poking in and out of the bay doors.
This is a risky play. He's also just wasting a lot of time, unfortunately. He needs to get more out of this, or it's going to be regrettable.
Nice up onto the high ground for the moment, just spilling away a couple grenades. Trying to build up for that Riptire. He's already at 65%, gets jumped on, gets a nice hit in onto Godsby, however, forces him back. Defense Matrix going to chew up that Satchel charge as he shifts back over to try to deal with his pesky Tracer. He'll go outside. Satchel lands on the door itself.
I mean, it's nice that you can use that to escape, but it really delays you, you know? Like, he goes out here to check. He's like, is he still out there?
Oh,
And
don't
yes,
send the
he is.
mercy. Chara, don't you dare do that.
This is cute, but is it effective? He's just spending so much time out here, and everyone knows where he is. Like, because he hasn't died, everyone knows he's out there.
Yeah.
So, like, Godspeed essentially doesn't exist in this game. And he hasn't be able to do anything. He's about to have a pulse, but everyone knows the angle he's coming from, so will he ever be able to make that work? I highly doubt it.
Oh, Rhea out of the mech, so this is going to be more time bought here.
Everyone got Rhea.
By Bellum, now a Riptire available. Godspeed starting to push back in, looking for Happy. Manages to take him down with the help of Glister and those Shurikens. Godspeed down to 30 yet again, but has the recall, stays alive, tries to drop in that pulse bomb, stunned up immediately, and just cut down by Envy.
Like, that was never going to work. I'm sorry, everybody. Sorry, Godspeed. That was just never going to work.
Godspeed just, his dream job when he was younger, he wanted to be an astronaut, so he's trying to spend as much time in space as he possibly can.
He wanted to be a space tracer. It turns out that Tracer's mobility is pretty reduced.
Riptire. Yeah, pop on the Demon Mech, that's pretty good.
With the Eraser here, it's just easily destroyed. Look at the clip.
Yeah. You definitely settle for that take. To the best of you. That's to the best of your ability. Just go ahead. Take down the tanks. Not alive. Glister going to fall. Godspeed not really a way for him to contest as he swaps over on to the Widowmaker. Roki trying to go for a res, but will just get taken down, and that should just about be it. Bellum, one tick away, with 4.5 minutes on the clock, mind you, one tick away from closing out this series versus X6-Gaming. Season 1 champions just not looking like they stand a chance.
And then you have to think it's going to be with the tank attack. They have so much time to build ultimates and have an ult advantage. It's just so terrifying in this meta when everyone's running the tanks, when you have the time advantage and it's so efficiently used. I mean, X6, they're going to have to pull off a miracle here. And so far this season, we haven't seen any miracles. It's been the team that has the bigger time bank and the better strategy wins. This is a very, very unforgiving meta, I should say, in terms of time bank because of the ability to triple or quad tank push. And when it's one tick is all you need, and you have the superior time bank, you might as well just put the point on the scoreboard. X6 is going to have to either revolutionize point A defense on Horizon Lunar Colony or have their best games of their lives. And we thought they were going to be the favorites tonight. We thought they were coming into this to be the stronger team, but with their match against WGS, perhaps we misjudged their strength. And it looks like this might just be all she wrote. The
It's leaning
attack,
that way.
though, is not going to be the tank attack. Oh, as I said, they switch it, so it is. All right.
Pushing through, triple tank yet again. With Happy back over onto the Widowmaker. Godspeed's going to be on the Hanzo this time around. They'll be trying to tank bust, and Glister does find a nice opening kill, which will shut down this initial push here from the side of Bellum as Chara gets picked off. Juan J. Lee, in the meantime, he's going to be enjoying the solo healing coming through, just build up for that coalescence very rapidly. Happy has been denied really any damage in, as you can see by the 10% ult charge that he's got. It's going to be natural gains coming in.
X6 is also just not firing wasteful shots as well, so that they don't build the support ultimates. But they try to take some shots there. The barrier from Reinhardt gets him into position. He's regenning it now, and it's just going to be another speed boost to get onto the point. They're going to try to trade up ultimates here. X6 can't step off the point, so they're always going to be feeding charge.
Yeah, I have to say in there, Riptire, however, could potentially shut this down very rapidly, charging into the backside. That's going to be Envy and Chara both going down. Great ult there from Glister, and you can see that is going to be nice, trying to head for the hills, as is Rio with the shield up.
This is
Can't break it in time to finish him.
This is the pace that X6 will have to continue to operate at. They will have to continue to shut these down this hard. Look at this 27, 29% ults.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want 50 plus after a push like that if it fails, so this is the pacing they need. They need to continue to build Riptires quickly. Glister just respawned, though, so he's not going to even be here in time. Here he's trying to show up now. Coalescence open.
Godspeed trying to focus down on the Happy, just sprays the arrows in. Alternating on sides and manages to get that kill. Nice in the meantime. Those that go ahead and get rid of no smite. Dragon Strike ready to go. Just going to be tossed in by Godspeed. Looking for the pickoff. Glister has been taken down. Envy pops Rhea out of the mech and Godspeed's fallen. Nice throwing up the self-destruct to try to zone them back. The Mercy going to cut his way back in. Roki with the Valkyrie trying to stay up in the skies. So far, it hasn't been that much attention paid over to him, and Bebe popping the Transcendence to help keep him alive, but after that expires, Roki just gonna melt down. Bebe gonna follow suit, and Bellum should be able to grind away at this because there's still over 2 minutes left on the clock. They will go ahead and close it out. Bellum taking the series 3-0 thus far. One more map to be played, so X6 can try to mitigate their losses here, to try to get one less point. You know, that, or try to
make it a +2 for them and a -2
exactly,
rather than the 0-4 that
they to try to get one less point, but I mean to try to get one less negative point.
That's right. Well,
but man, Bellum are. We said that this was going to be a competitive series. It's one-sided, but not in the way that we would have anticipated at all. If you were going to call this one-sided, you would have to have gone with X6 as the champions, and Bellum not showing us that strong of a performance in their first game this week versus Kongdu Panthera. They lost that one 1-3. Kongdu absolutely crushed them. Now they come in and are defeating the Season 1 champions.
I mean, after you have a time bank like that, where Rio was able to smash with the Earth Shatter early into the second point there, and they just snowballed it in super hard and ended up with a 4.5 to basically no time bank at all for X6. I mean, the X6's players' names were already written in Envy's Death Note, man. He's like, well, I'm playing Zarya and Reinhardt together, so therefore, in 4.5 minutes, you will lose one tick. You know, if you put an open division team in that game and had them run that comp and attack, like, the situation might have been pretty similar, despite Godsby, his best efforts to long-range Storm Arrow kill Happy. I mean, he had his moment. We saw as well the Riptire come through from Glister to buy some time on the first push, and they did, like I said, keep the correct pacing to shut down those ultimates, but it's a super sustainable comp that does so much damage. When Glister died and had to run back from spawn, he wasn't able to slow them down.
Yep.
It's just, that's just the way the meta works. Like, it's not like X6 should have held that, or, you know, they messed up. It's just, that's just how the meta works.
Well, I mean, this is proving to be a very fast day here. Wolf, our first series actually taking a bit longer than this one, even though it was no ties coming through.
Yeah.
But man, Bellum, and just making such quick work of X6. They have the 2-0 going through onto Achilios. Eichenwald, you know, able to just drain the clock all the way down to 0, so X6 doesn't even get a push in the extra rounds. They take the one tick easily. The same thing happens right here with the massive time bank that they were able to accrue on Horizon. Now it comes down to the final map for X6 to try to bring something back in, make it a 1-3 loss rather than the 0-4. Not sure if it's going to happen. Not sure if they're going to, where they're going to go for this final escort map, but we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the replays from Horizon.
If they sub Glister out, you know, it couldn't really be anything, especially Rialto with how good we know Order is on the Pharah. But if it is going to be Glister staying in, I think Junkertown is probably their best bet. It's the best map for Glister. It was the only map he was really subbed into in Season 1, consistently, that is to say. So that's what I expect. In the olden times, one of the comfort pick maps for X6 was the Route 66 when BQB was here in the Sombra meta, but that's an older time. It's a different time than now. So, you know, this feels tragic for X6, you know, to have come off of such a huge momentum that they had from the Grand Finals, their crushing victory over WGS, and then to be tested here by O2 and still be called the favorites and just be so easily shut down. This is Godsby's amazing moment over Happy. Dragon Strike to buy time.
It gets cut short because he dies shortly thereafter, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's extra rough, but they're gonna go to Route 66 here for the final map. Try to pick up a win here. No changes coming through to the roster, so still will be Glister starting in over Order.
It's still a good map for the Genji, especially on attack, but it becomes a little bit more nebulous on the defense in this meta right now. We see a lot of Brigitte to help protect big hurls up there against dive attacks. You want to assess very quickly, if you can, on defense what the attacking team is running, because if they are running the Genji, you do want to hold that Brigitte. If not, then you're going to change it up.
Bit of a delay there on the X6 cheer. They're still stunned, Wolf, from what has transpired in front of them here on the big screen.
So
X6. Yeah, gonna start things off here. Godspeed back over onto the Widowmaker with Glister on that Tracer. Gonna be the Widow Genji defense coming through from Metabell.
Okay, so Genji Tracer, but they do scout the Genji, as I say, and switch to the Brigitte. So that's the important part here, right? You see the Genji, you make the switch, you know, to the Brigitte, and that gives you the opportunity to kind of counter. You could basically squat and sit on this cart as X6 and make it very difficult for Nice to actually find value and get a Dragon Blade. And then later on, of course, when he has his Dragon Blade, make it very difficult for him to use it. We saw very good uses of Dragon Blades by Glister himself to kill the Brigitte first. But let's see how it pans out in this case.
Yeah, the opening kill going to be coming through from Godspeed here, looking for the tag in. Onto Nice, helps take him down to half HP.
Godspeed said no.
And Rhea going to go ahead and finish him off. So already a better start here for the side of X6 as they get ready to round the first corner past the Big Earls.
Yeah, really free push here. The Genji pick not doing much against the Brigitte, and also Godspeed's headshot. They're going to spill out here in a moment, but Rhea and No Smite are checking where they're coming out. They're coming out from two angles here, left and right side. Tanks to the right, DPS to left. No Smite scouts the Widow.
Seems to Winston, but doesn't go for the headshot there, even though he had a pretty clear line of sight. Nice pushing forward. And just to take down No Smite as Rio comes back in. They will gain control of the card here for the moment, as there's no takes available for X6 any longer. Was looking for some staggers.
Really good staggers going to come through. And that was really well done by
pushing up
by Wonjae Lee. He was able to identify that No Smite should have been the one to discord, despite the other targets that looked juicy in that moment. He went for the Winston, and they break No Smite very quickly. And they've totally shifted the momentum here right before point A.
Godspeed hanging on to the infra side. We've seen a lot of Widows do this. They try to go for a couple intro picks, hopefully onto the enemy Widows, so they can just shut them down and then go for the infra side and have nobody able to counter their vision. But not going to find it, so is forced to use it out, but so far, no kills going to be found with the use of that ultimate. No Smite with a primal range. Looking for the pin into the wall there onto Nice, not able to find it. Wonjae Lee under pressure, still has that Transcendence, but he does not pop it. Rio in the meantime gets rid of Godspeed, so a bit of a trade back and forth. Roki has the res, brings him back into the fight. Nice. Still holding the Dragon Blade. Envy makes it back into the mech. Rio going dangerously low, just hovering on the side. Nice draws at the blade, finds one. Roki goes down. Gonna have that mercy anymore. No more reses, ready to go. Bebe uses the Transcendence to try to stay alive. Nice. Going down to 30 HP, taken out by Glister. The melee swings coming through to work him out of the fight. And X6 just keep applying the pressure, keep trying to get this completion as they fall down to a minute left on this initial push. But they're just 4 meters away. Bellum cannot stand up to them. Now they'll move it up to 3.5 minutes as they go into the streets phase.
Bellum was trying to smash their heads into a brick wall a little bit with the non-swap on Nice. I think overconfident in what he was going to be able to achieve against a turtled up composition on top of the payload itself. Either way, you know, it's not the greatest time bank here for X6, but I think it could have been easier for Bellum had they played the more meta composition against the Brigitte. They switch it now.
Dive in coming through, Godspeed, grapple hook takes him to safety in behind the cart, but as I say that, actually Rio able to chase in with the help of the Zenyatta. They've taken down Godspeed, Rio out of the mech and killed. And now he's got that primal rage ready to go, so great harass coming through, helping to build up that ultimate very rapidly. Chara close to the Valkyrie, but Wonjae Lee still has a ways to go before we see another Transcendence out of him.
Happy with the near miss here. Yeah, it's going to be a while before it transcends, but that's not going to be too impactful of an ultimate until tanks dive deep. So he's got a little bit of like a window of time in which he can actually force this to be built. Ooh, close call there for Happy. Just grazes past him, might have chipped his ear.
Yep. Pierced it for him. No Smite poking in. Has his infra sight up from Godspeed, so knows exactly where everyone's at. Pushes in, destroys the poison trap, leaps in, trying to get the finish onto Happy. Pops the primal range.
This is when the Transcendence would be useful. It's almost ready.
And going back in now to try to help defend his back line where Glister was already eliminated. Goes low, pocket coming out of Roki, helping to keep him alive. Self-destruct tossed in. Nice, just kites his way back. Has the rally ready to go. See what he wants to pop. It's going to be right now as he kites back over onto the cart. Dragon Strike. Gonna go wide, just to the side of everybody.
You can use Rally in a fight. Sometimes it kind of becomes a mini AoE heal, but it's usually better when no one's taking damage, so you get the permanent armor. So he was deciding, and he ended up knowing the fight was over to go ahead and pop it, so they couldn't re-engage onto the armor, and that they were going to be able to keep it. So that's a really good timed Rally right there from Neist.
Usually when you have to use it in a team fight, it's true desperation. You're kind of using it almost as like an amp up, like with Lucio.
Yeah.
Just to try to stop the heavy damage from coming through.
Exactly.
But it's never a good look. It's like Happy getting tagged up. Not a good look, but it's just going to be the Winstons killing each other's. Widowmaker's here as the jump forward comes in from Rio, but he's got the backup here from Neist. Spamming away the melee hits, trying to keep him alive, but he himself will get killed.
Dragon Strike zoning there from Glister, really well placed. Unfortunately, you know, it wasn't necessary there, but I think it's totally fine. He'll be able to build that really quickly as the cart keeps rolling. Neist makes the switch back to the Genji. So, you know, with no enemy Brigitte, he feels like that's the way to approach this on this map. So he wants to kind of challenge Godspeed and Glister.
Oh, the sneaky monkey coming in behind. Below, just managed to burn down Neist, but can't get the kill. In the meantime, Rio killed elsewhere, and Happy tagged up by Godspeed. Cart still moving forward. Limited tank options here as Rio just now respawns. Let's see if they can stop this. The answer is going to be no. Just have to get set up for the final one.
That was kind of a weird situation there. I think mistake on Bellum's side to not really identify where No Smite was. And your diving hero is usually not the one that gets picked off by a solo Winston that sneaks through, but X6 makes it happen. Neist going to stick with this. He's getting closer to that blade, though. 80% with the Transcendence. If they could save it, that would be ideal.
All right, well, Bebe eliminated with that Transcendence ready to go. Good pick off. So far, no res from Roki, so in just too risky of a position.
70 seconds left, yeah, exactly. And Bellum has a lot of tools to delay, so they need to make something happen soon. Ideally, they'd love to have the Rally. They at least switch to the Brigitte, which means the Dragon Blade will be tougher to utilize.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think they're going to need like some sort of opening pick. Maybe it's going to be self-destruct that gives them a good angle for Godspeed. But they haven't even gotten around this corner yet, which is the toughest part of all. That's when they're going to get line of sight. Godspeed's trying to flank here.
Yeah, and the other thing, as long as Neist is staying focused, this is advantage to him because they can go ahead and just try to drain down the clock. They want Bebe to use that Transcendence.
Absolutely.
You know, they want him to pop that as early as possible, so the more pressure that the tanks can apply onto the Zenyatta, the better it's going to be. Dive into the back coming through. Self-destruct up, Transcendence now out. That means that Neist has a big opening for this Dragon Blade to pop off. Rio kiting his way back with the dregs of that primal range, keeps himself alive, and now the blade is coming in. Nowhere really for Bebe to run. The stun comes in, Neist goes low, but the pocket comes out. Chara keeping him alive and healed up as he goes straight into the base of No Smite. They will be able to take him down. Happy finding the killing blow, and Rhea is taken right out of that mech as we get ready to go into overtime. No tanks available. It's Godspeed, Roki, and Bebe against the world. Now just the first two. Godspeed has to use the recall. Neist cutting down the Mercy. The tanks getting ready to respawn, but they need to chain this together. Godspeed is buying them some time, but they have to get around the corner. They have to get onto the cart. Manage to get that tag in. Still waiting for the backup. Bebe just now respawning. Primal Rage pop from No Smite. Trying to smack them off the cart. Trying to get some distance here. Trying to do whatever he possibly can to survive. He'll go running to the hills. Rhea out yet again. Bebe taken out as Happy finds the headshot. So trying to play forward. Trying to get these melee swings in to keep everybody around him sustained. Self-destruct to zone them back. Plus they're going to lose the shield. Another Dragon Blade out from Neist. Trying to cut them down. But no one's on the cart. It will go ahead and expire. They make it a little bit past point B, but X6-Gaming cannot get this completion on Route 66.
That was, I want to go back to the Dragon Blade that really started to stop the momentum that we saw Neist pull out. I think that moments like that we'll probably see in the highlight reel are proof that if used correctly, Brigitte, even though she's considered to be the counter to Genji, can still go down to a Genji Dragon Blade that attacks her directly if you are able to pocket the Genji, or if you catch the Brigitte in a place where, even though she gets the stun, there's no follow-up damage. He's able to instantly kill the Brigitte and the Widow right out of stun after the Dragon Blade has been popped. So Brigitte does not just make Genji irrelevant. It's how you use the Genji versus the Brigitte, which is usually to kill her first, or your team knows that when she's dead, you can pull the Dragon Blade. That's how you use the Genji that makes it hit or miss. It's still very difficult against the Brigitte, tougher than, you know, against another hero in that slot, like a Hanzo, for example. But Neist getting those 2 opening picks or stopping the momentum there, despite being stunned by the shield bash, shows that he's very experienced and very confident to continue to run this Genji into the Brigitte. You know, we criticized him for it on point A when he wasn't able to do as much as he would have liked, but there at the end, it comes up big. So, you know, in this meta, there's a lot of soft counters, but I don't think there's any real hard, definite counters to compositions like this. Even though Brigitte does make it more challenging, if you know how to answer, then you could still certainly make this viable. Looks like he wants to run it on attack. I think it's probably one of the only real heroes on this attack we'll be seeing. The runaway Genji Widow that we saw yesterday, where you body shot and then you dive the heroes that are weakened by the Widowmaker with the Genji and the Winston, and the D.Va, of course, when she has her boost.
Already. Nice, taking quite a bit of damage, tries his way back. Happy. Would love to play around that corner, but no Smite is waiting for him. Jump over the top. Looking for somebody. It's the body shot onto Bebe. Yet again. Winston around the corner. Just trying to hunt down No Smite, trying to do his best bumper impersonation. Nice gets jumped on, goes low. The healing coming through now from the Orb of Harmony.
Nice is playing very passively, mostly using range damage to build a Dragon Blade rather than trying to dive deep, because the way that X6 is spread and set up, you know, he wants to be careful because he was in line of sight of Godspeed for a long time. Obviously, once Godspeed died, that's when he got a little more aggressive. It's been like a pretty pacifist push here for Bellum. They haven't been able to get a lot of kills, but they didn't need to because X6 is playing so defensively here.
They're just conceding it. It was just the 2 kills really going over as Godspeed and Glister were taken out. Now dive in onto the point, trying to buy some extra time off of this bank. But Rhea just going to get knocked out. As Happy, he's got to be contained to the side, flips over, gets rid of the baby D.Va. Bebe dead. Looking for the shot here on the pop-up, not going to find it. On to Godspeed, which is going to be spraying away into the side of No Smite, and they'll take him down the Helmet Heist. That's point A grabbed by Bellum. 6 ultimates ready to go with 5 minutes on the clock as they get ready to storm their way through the streets phase.
They grab a few more of these staggered kills on their way there. Happy's going to hide. He has the Empress sight he can use to gain some additional information, and that's going to be mostly for Neist. He wants to know where Brigitte is if he's going to pull this blade, as we saw in the last fight. I mean, they've got the big 6, so the sky's the limit as to what they can do with this blade. Here's the Empress sight, but he wants to kill Brigitte so that his Dragon Blade then can sweep up everybody else. You sometimes feel overly safe as a support when the Brigitte is near you, but when she dies, you're just as vulnerable as you were in an older meta.
Yeah, that and the Transcendence, the 2 things that can really shut down this blade from Neist. Right now, he's just going to be poking out, draws it out, Transcendence immediately into the back, and Glister shuts him down. Neist not nearly as patient as he was on the defensive side of things. Will be res back in, but Charo's going to lose his life for that one, and Happy goes down as well. Rio still going to use the Primal Rage despite using multiple teammates, and Envy popped out of the mech. So
if they hadn't used the Primal Rage that you just mentioned, like, I feel like that might have been the most ult efficient trade of all time, because they were able to pop out both support ultimates for X6 and the rally used, so could have been amazing, but they did use it, so it ends up being a pretty even trade. Wanjali still holds on to his Transcendence, but the blade isn't quite ready yet to pair, as X6 has full line of sight advantage with Godspeed now after this one fight. Yeah, that's the other disadvantage.
Very far forward here, up towards the canyon.
But Neist is just picking slowly with left clicks at range to build that blade.
3 peaks right at the same angle. Happy manages to find the shot. Rez is going to come through here as the Transcendence comes out from Wanjali, trying to allow his team to push forward, but they don't make it that far. They are still very much on fire. Happy going to go down again. Neist just now getting healed back up. Rhea uses the self-destruct to find anything for it, but Glister charging in, gets the stun on the Neist, takes him low, kites his way back with the deflection up, but Rio is going to die, and X6 right now are in full control.
Yeah, they may very well be able to continue to hold this. Once again, good tools on the side of X6-Gaming to shut down the blade. Bebe popped the Transcendence at perfect timing, like you were pointing out right before the fight happened. That's the big issue for Neist. Again, we almost have the exact mirror situation. He's going to go ahead and infra sight, Nice knows where everyone is. He's going to look for the kill onto Bebe. Will Bebe hit the trance again? That's the big question. Rally to start, actually, a little bit earlier this time, in fact.
Glister throws that one down. The pick on the Godspeed not going to matter as much as the res comes through. We still haven't seen that much of a hard commitment here from the side of Bellum. Just trying to poke through, trying to get through that armor as passively as they can, but they're going to have to be aggressive if they want to take it away, especially from Bebe, because he has his shielding still sitting on top of it. Nice, getting his way into the back. Knows that Transcendence should still be available. And Envy tries to open things with that self-destruct. Doesn't find anything. Nice draws the Dragon Blade. Immediately, the Transcendence coming down as Bebe manages to stay alive yet again, not taking any damage. Still has the armor. They'll dash through, start burning through the shields. The pocket, though, keeps a little bit of armor on top of him, but Bebe is not dying. They need to commit even harder to try to finish this guy off. Will finally get him. Loki gonna keep himself safe. Chara gonna go down as Rhea finds the pick there with that self-destruct. Res onto Bebe, bringing him back through. X6 just gonna be down one member. They trade back as Bellum is down 2.
Bellum just understanding exactly how far they can push the button here, push the envelope. They do have to back off and escape. But I mean, that was really classy what we just saw from them. Nice taken out here. He's going to respawn with the Brigida as Glister has another rally, and they know that Bebe's got to be close to a Transcendence. They might even think he's already got it with how much damage he was able to put off in that fight, plus the extended healing on top of the armor you mentioned. So I like the switch back to Brigida this time because you've already tried it twice and you've come up empty both times. Might as well switch it up, get the armor yourself. So there's going to be the rally coming out once more for X6 as they see the Genji has already switched away.
Short hop to the side here, Godspeed. Just looking through the building, looking for the shots here. Happy gets a nice little body tag, but not going to be able to get a finish.
Armor super helpful against that too.
Got his way around the side. Knows that the Winston's coming in. Gets the headshot. Knows White has to drop the bubble. Doesn't really have any healers nearby him. As Bellum have just shifted themselves around in behind the payload, but nice. Still gonna die as Godspeed finds that pick, but Happy goes ahead and gets rid of the mech. Rez coming through. Nice back into the fight. Envy gonna go down. The self-destruct does manage to kill Glister. Now Roki dead. Now no smite. Also falling. X6 lose out on 3. Bebe under fire. Just has to save that Transcendence. Needs it for this next bit of defense. It's 10 seconds remaining as Bellum gets ready to go in to point B. Get a little bit of time back. X6-Gaming, do we see a last-second contest? I don't think anybody is nearby enough, so they're just going to have to try to hold this corner inside the garage.
Yeah, that's the key. And in terms of tools, like because Bebe went down early in that fight, he couldn't transcend, but he has it here. Only 80 seconds to go, so that's going to be a huge tool. Happy makes the swap back to Widow. Nice is just kind of leading here, using third-person view to get a vision, to get the angle here with his shield. Which gives them a little bit more info as to where the Widow may be. Happy still doesn't quite know. Okay, they're going in deep right now with Nice at the front.
Yeah, jump forward. That's going to be the Transcendence actually baited out there to save Glister's life as he approaches that next rally.
That's a huge win for Bellum.
Yeah, Transcendence going to fall down. Rhea can buy some space with this self-destruct if he can find a good lineup for it, but Roki's going to get taken out now. No res available. Glister can get a bit of damage. Rally getting ready to come through. No smite falling low. Not going to be getting the rally. Not going to be getting the primal rage. Managed to find one pickup onto Happy, but that's about as good as it gets for X6 right now. Zara as well. A nice little takeaway from this one, but Glister still just getting smacked in the tier by Nice, but as the heal to die comes through from Roki with a swap over onto the Ana, they start ripping them to bits. A great swap right at the end for him. Rio falling as well. X6 managed to hold them off with 15 seconds remaining. Can they actually get this?
They've got one more shot. Look at Happy. He's trying to flank here. He's trying to take the right side to try to surprise them, but I don't think it's going to work. Roki here, meanwhile, on this Ana. We're gonna watch this first-person view for some reason. I'd rather see the tank fight. That's actually super important.
Yeah,
he's adding a lot of healing here.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, big boost coming through. Not going to be finding a deny off that one, it would seem. No spike goes forward to the primal range. Down to half HP. We're into overtime, and Charo's going to be the first one to fall. X6 might actually be able to pull this off. Might be able to make this a 1-3 loss rather than 0-4 for themselves. Rio taken out. Envy out of the mech, getting zapped to death. No spike. Helps him to take him down. Now looking for Nice. Still going to be relatively healthy. Has one J lead there with the Transcendence, but they are all on their lonesome, and nobody gets to the cart. They all kind of wait from it. Weren't winning that fight by any means, but they just kind of hand that win over to X6. So no 4-0 to boon up the point score here for Bellum. Just the 3-1. Still going to be a nice takeaway here on the day. A very unexpected result, we would say. We knew this was going to be a competitive series, but it was way, way more one-sided for Bellum than we could have ever anticipated.
Really cool stuff, though, out of Bellum. Being able to show us triple tank attacks, the Junkrat Genji, the Brigida ability to use that in multiple different situations, the ability to counter the Brigida, or not counter, but play around the Brigida well enough with Genji to basically say, okay, you've got the counter to our Dragon Blade, but we're going to use it so well that it actually doesn't end up being what answers it. So a lot of different things we saw in Bellum in this series that we just simply did not get to see with Kongdu Panthera because it was a different play style.
Yeah.
And against a more meta X6 here in a lot of ways, Bellum looks like you can understand why further they had problems against Kongdu Panthera because they're playing more for what was standard and what's normal. And when they faced stuff against that style of X6 today, they were able to come up on top. I feel like Envy had some great moments in the first 2 maps, but then Rio and Nice came up big on the last 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Bellum has a really solid lineup of players. Man, even though they took the first loss of the season, I think they bounced back super hard in this series. And, you know, X6, we had higher expectations for them after the win over WGS. I think we have to rethink those a little bit. Their next match, of course, will be against Runaway, so it's not going to be an easy one. Runaway is going to be feeling, I think, a little bit more comfortable after watching tonight's. And
Yeah,
it's no longer invincible, let's say.
Should be a breath of fresh air for those guys. Like, okay, no one is immortal right now. Like, there is still that possibility that we could top out the group and take down X6 and maybe go to another grand final. Like you said,
Let's not get ahead of
they work
ourselves.
on even numbers, Wolf.
Yeah.
It is both the 2nd season of Contenders and the 6th season of competitive Overwatch in Korea. So they got double even numbers going for them. So maybe that means that they win.
Well, I mean, pattern is that they go to the finals. I saw a girl had a sign yesterday that said that as well. Like, it's the even number season. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Like,
that one.
I guess maybe in the Korean community as well, it's kind of like a thing that, you know, you and I talk about it a lot on broadcast, but I guess maybe the Koreans the Korean community discusses that.
Turns out sometimes they have the same jokes and memes as we do.
Yeah, they really do. Like,
it's almost like they're also human beings, even though they play like they're robots because they're just so good.
Escalol was developed on both sides of communities, you know, at the same time. Like, it didn't originate from English or Korean. It was like, it was just an understood
embraced.
thing.
It's the same thing with C9.
Yeah.
The Korean casters will say C9 if one actually happens, unlike a lot of you guys who like to just throw it out there because you think that you're being ironic and